You have already replaced the mechanical seal per our previous video. While the pump is depressurized, this would be a good time to inspect the gears, bypass valve cartridge, and strainer screen by removing the cover of the pump. For demonstration purposes, this is a new pump that has been removed from the motor and pipework and brought into a repair facility. Inspection of the pump internal components can also be accomplished with the pump still in the pipework that is properly valved off and depressurized. All pump repairs should be conducted by authorized and trained personnel only. Be sure to follow all applicable safety codes and company procedures when conducting any installation or maintenance for a Smith pump. This video is intended to be a supplemental maintenance guide for a Smith E-Series pump only. Be sure to review all literature that pertains to the E-Series pump found on our website, including Repair Manual ED1 and Warning Sheet AL201 before performing any pump repairs. For this job, have a 9/16" socket wrench, a 9/16" torque wrench, a 4/1000 to 8/1000 feeler gauge set, a straight edge or ruler, an Allen wrench, and pipe sealant compatible with LPG. We recommend PLS2 pipe sealant manufactured by the Federal Process Company. Have a new set of drive gears and idler gears handy. Both the EG1Z and ECHZ utilize one drive gear and one idler gear. Make sure you have the correct gear for the correct model pump. Note the difference between the EG1Z gears and the ECHZ gears. The ECHZ gears contain fewer teeth than the EG1Z gears. The idler gear for the ECHZ pump is also larger in diameter. Before removing the cover, take note of where the bypass port is located. If the pump is in the 9 o'clock position, the plug should remain in this port. This means the pump is bypassing internally and an external bypass valve should be used. If the pump is in the 12 o'clock position, the pipe plug is already removed and the bypass relief valve inside the pump is being used as an external bypass valve. Make sure to bleed this line and depressurize prior to removing the cover. Please see our last video titled E-Series Pump Bypass Valve Instructions for more information. For the pump being repaired today, this pump is in the 9 o'clock standard factory position. Remove all 8 cap screws that hold the pump cover onto the main housing using the 9/16" wrench. Once removed, you will see the drive gear, idler gear, strainer screen, and bypass relief valve cartridge. Before removing the gears, mark the top of each with a black marking pen. This is to reference which side of the old gear was facing up. Never use a screwdriver or sharp instrument when removing the gears. Examine the used gear set. Any wear that appears obvious means that the gear set must be replaced. Examine the gear tooth profile of both gears. Both gears should be symmetric and follow a convex curve from the tip of the gear tooth to the root of the gear. If there is significant wear along this profile, the gear should be replaced. Inspect the bushing pressed into the idler gear. The internal bore of this bushing should be a perfect circle and smooth. If it is not, the idler gear must be replaced. Remove the built-in strainer screen. Clean and remove any particles within the screen that have been trapped over time. Remove the bypass valve cartridge and O-rings. Examine the used bypass valve cartridge. Look at the bottom of the cartridge where the ball seats on the washer to make sure that debris has not lodged between the ball and the washer. If debris is found, lift up the ball and blow the debris away. If the cartridge appears to be damaged in any way, it should be replaced. Another way to check the condition of the cartridge is to shine a flashlight through the end of the bypass valve opposite the ball seat. If light is coming through this ball and washer seat, this means a slight leak is occurring and the bypass valve cartridge should be replaced. Before replacing parts, all old sealant left on the face of the pump main housing and cover must be removed. Use a razor blade to assist in removal. Inspect the idler gear shaft that supports the idler gear. While this shaft rarely must be replaced, check for obvious signs of damage. Before installing a new or used gear set, the pockets and cover should be inspected for unusual wear. Carefully look at the gear pocket sides to determine if any wear has occurred. You are looking for any obvious gouge marks, uneven wear patterns, etc. Also, inspect the bottom of the gear pockets for the same signs of significant wear. Install a new gear set into the gear pockets. Place a 4/1000 inch feeler gauge in between the outside diameter of the gear and the gear pocket on both sides of the gear. Do the same test for both the drive and idler gear. If a combined 0.008 inch of clearance is detected between both sides of the gear, then the gear pocket is worn beyond repair. For the pump used in this test, the main housing does not need replacement. Next, place your straight edge over the main housing and gear set. If your 0.008 inch feeler gauge can fit in between the new set of gears and main housing, the pump should be replaced. For this test, our 0.008 inch gauge did not fit in this space, indicating the main housing can be reused. Do the same inspection with the old gears to determine if the gears need replacement. If you can fit the feeler gauge in between this clearance, the gears must be replaced. For the inspection shown in this video, the gears and main housing do not need replacement and can be reused again. To maximize the life of a used gear set when reinstalling into the pump, turn the gear faces over and install with the face of the gear that was pointing up into the gear pockets first. Push the drive gear all the way down the shaft until it stops. Likewise, install the idler gear over the idler gear shaft. Make sure the gears are installed correctly by running the straight edge over the gear set. The gears should be able to turn smoothly with no resistance. After inspecting the bypass valve cartridge, install with the Allen screw facing towards the pump outlet. Make sure the bottom O-ring is installed first. Once the cartridge is installed, the top O-ring can be put in place. Do not use old O-rings. Install the clean strainer screen, making sure that the wire strands are below the surface of the pump main housing face and tucked securely into the half-moon-shaped inlet pocket. The gear end cover should also be inspected for wear. Normally, the gear set will leave circular polishing rings on the cover. This is normal. The cover should only be replaced if deep grooves are felt when running your fingernail across the cover. Replace the cover O-ring. Do not reuse the old one. After replacement parts have been installed, new PLS2 sealant should be applied to the face of the pump main housing only. Never apply sealant to the cover, gears, bypass valve cartridge, or shaft seal assembly. The sealant should be applied very sparingly. With the cover O-ring replaced, place the cover back onto the main housing in the same position when removed. Use your torque wrench to install the 8 cap screws. Tighten each cap screw opposite of the other. 20 to 25 foot-pounds of torque is recommended. Use our part number VC20 flexible drive coupling for the EG1Z pump. This is noted by the 2 drive pins installed in each coupling half. For the ECHZ pump, use the VC30 flexible drive coupling. This contains 3 drive pins in each coupling half. Install 1 coupling half onto the pump drive shaft loosely. Make sure the drive shaft is level with the coupling face. Rotate the pump drive shaft by hand to make sure the gear set is rotating smoothly. If no binding can be felt, the repair is complete and the pump can be put back into service. Examine the rubber coupling insert. If worn or damaged, replace it. Bring the motor back in contact with the pump. after the other coupling half is loosely installed on the motor drive shaft. Tighten the 4 cap screws to 20 or 25 foot-pounds of torque using the torque wrench. Slide or adjust the coupling half so it barely contacts the rubber insert. To check for proper coupling alignment between motor and pump shafts, lay a straight edge over the tops of the 2 halves as shown. Do not sandwich the rubber coupling insert tightly between the 2 coupling halves or leave a pronounced visible amount of space between the coupling halves and insert. The coupling halves should be barely making contact with the coupling insert. Fully tighten the coupling set screw with the Allen wrench and rotate the mated pump and motor shafts by hand to make sure the assembly turns freely. Repressurize the pump according to all applicable safety codes and practices consistent with local, state, or federal law and company procedures. NFPA 58 should be consulted. Check the pump for any leakage using an electronic leak detector. Points of leakage may be from the pump bleeder cup, drive shaft, or pump main housing and cover interface. In cases where the pump is severely worn, it may be more economical to exchange the pump. Smith Distributors stock exchange pumps as well as repair kits. Contact your nearest Smith distributor for details on the exchange plan. Thank you for watching this video. For information pertaining to replacing the shaft seal assembly or bypass valve options, please see our other videos posted on our website. Should questions arise, please feel free to contact your nearest Smith distributor, call us, or visit our website at www.smithpumps.com.